Okay, and after West Point, where did you go in?
Man, I'm a passionate guy. If I can do anything to help my hometown, I'm gonna do it. So I went to my hometown next under Joshua Puffs. He was the head coach then. He coached me in high school. So he kind of knew what I was bringing to the table as a player, so he knew what type of guy I was. And he also felt like I could reach the kids. But that's when I started learning about the game and the industry of coaching. I came and I was the assistant to middle school and assistant D-line coach. But it was, I was on the staff.
Yeah.
Then I started learning the other sides of football. Like Columbus is a special type of place. I feel like the only people that can make Columbus be successful is people from Columbus, because it's a small area with a big city hood mindset. You have kids that can get A's and B's and they go home and have to sell dope because that's what they family like. That's how they survive. That's what they know. That don't mean they bad people. Yeah. But if you're not from there and you don't understand that circumstance, you're going to look at it like, man, these kids ain't going to win this and that. Then it's crazy. I watch how they play. It's all for a reason. What I'm saying is I watch how they play other teams. Like they'll come and I watch them play Noxubee. Now you're knocking Noxubee kids straight out, but you can't move the ball at all. But you're physical, you're strong. It's like, dang, we finna play Columbus. And they finna hurt, but we finna beat them. I'm sick of that. And so I wanted to come and change that for my own community. But then you also, as a culture aspect, to go into that too. And so like if you gotta have more than just a heart to deal with the kids that live in the jungle.
Oh, yeah.
So, and one thing I'm learning is trying to attain to be a head coach one day. You're only as good as your staff. You're only as good as your assistants are. So you have some good assistants, some assistants that were better players than coaches, or some assistants who navigating other stuff. It was a bad and a good environment for good football, but just a lot of stuff that was adding to it. Then you had a bunch of new young coaches too. So, I mean, we competed, man. We were changing the program around there. We started. Of course, we weren't winning a bunch of games, but when you start getting into big dog program, you playing against like the top two of each district, and it's down to the wire. We were losing games by 8-6.
Yeah.
22-24. It wasn't like we were just getting blown out, or you see what I'm saying. So it was a good experience, man. I learned a lot under Puffs about field maintenance, dealing with just planning, field maintenance, community involvement, reaching out, understanding how to get the community involved with PR. Man, Puff will tell you all the time, now you gonna work now. You gonna work, and he, not to be funny, but like you gonna work. If you want to learn football, you want to be a head coach, all right, boom, you got to start somewhere. And he made me the head coach in the middle school, and then he started learning from there. So it was a lot of bumping because we didn't win a lot, but it was a lot of growing. There was a lot of good stuff I learned from him, man. What not to do and what to do.
Yeah, I was really impressed with him when his first year they came to Macon. I came to Macon, and I was taking pictures on that side of the field at the time, and then I told just about everybody that I talked to, I said, man, this guy's going to get Columbus straight, because he can really coach. I mean, I played the game, so I know when somebody can really coach. I said, this guy can really coach. But, the problem with Columbus is that they just, if they would all come together, and like you said, it's probably going to take somebody from Columbus to do that. I don't know if the new coach, I mean, I know him I saw him play at Mississippi State. I used to be a season ticket holder. So, but I hope that he can get it going, because Columbus is the only program really around here now that's not really living up to standard. And I know it's not because they don't have the athlete. I know that's not the problem.
But this also thing a lot of people don't know. If it's a city with 23,000 people and it's 7 high schools,
oh yeah,
nobody has to deal with that. Like most places consolidate. You either go to the county or private school, or you going someplace else. Well, you can go to Caledonia, live in the hood. You can go to New Hope, live in Caledonia. You can go to West Lounge, Victory, Columbus Christian, Heritage. feel like I'm missing one more.
Let's see.
Let's say Columbus, West Lounge, New Hope, Caledonia, Victory, Heritage.
Columbus.
All right, that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you got 7 options. Then, you know, and like you said, when you got 7 options, you got to be delicate. So, like, you got to incentivize. They got to see the worth in it. They got to see the worth in it. So, like, and I'm just going to be real. It's an intangible that you got to have. A kid will run through the wall for you, even if they got options, but they got to know you care. But not just that you care, but you'll hold them accountable and still care.
Oh, yeah.
Even the bad way, but like, you know what I'm saying, like caring, and that's what not just him, it's just any coach that come through there. I'm a player from Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
If you allow me to, if you on my butt about stuff, and I know you coming from a good place, you punishing me, but you also, all right, let me get you something to eat, let me drop you off. I understand. All right, you trying to show me something. I respect it. Real recognize real. My struggle recognize your struggle. Mm-hmm. But like for instance, I'll give you an example of what I mean. If you're from a strictly rural area and you have no experience with drug usage or the abuse that comes from that, and your only experience is crystal meth, and these kids don't know nothing about that yet at that time. Mm-hmm. Now they probably do, but and nothing about that. We appreciate that you're trying to sympathize, but the more that you sympathize and tell these stories about how this guy tore a motorcycle up to go get this from a trailer, and he had a bunch of other motorcycles. All we hear is privilege. I appreciate you trying to sympathize with us, but you're not reaching me like you think. Mm-hmm. And so, like, you gotta be, when you get in those situations, I think Columbus, the problem is, Porpoise would be he's a great coach, but you need somebody who understands them socioeconomic problems. Mm-hmm. In order to change the hood, somebody gotta come from the hood. You can't get no. Poverty is the same in the hood and rural and city places, but just gonna be real. You still got mama sense in the country. Mm-hmm. In the city, kids raising themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like that in the country too. But you still it's still like, well, man, you ain't gonna. And there's more stuff to get into. So like, you put all that into play. Then you got parents, and then you got country parents and city parents. It's same but different. Like, you just got those circumstances. So I think a lot of times he was a good X's and O's coach, but when your assistants don't understand what your program need culturally to help your X's and O's, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
And that's what hurted him, not his X's and O's. They calling. You're only as good as your assistants are. You got to renegade the politics.
Yeah, and then see I think what happened a lot of time is when people don't understand, like, and then it's just. This wasn't dealing with football at all, but it's dealing with something else. I remember when my brother passed, and I went to the bank, to make sure everything was in order. And he asked me, he said, Eddie, why does black people co-sign for others, family members? And I said, well, if we don't, we can't go anywhere. So, that's going to be, you don't go co-sign for anybody, but,
right.
You're trying to help your family, and, if you got a good friend that you can help, I mean, you do that, because otherwise he can't go and get nothing. He can go to a place that's going to charge him 39% interest, and that's not happening. So, all these things play into it, and you got to understand that. You got to understand, I mean, our culture it's not the same. There's certain things that we can't go to a business and get where others can. So yeah, you have to understand those things. Okay, and from Columbus?
So I did 1.5 years, 2 years in Columbus, then I went to New Hope School District. And then I guess I say I'm a Kareem through and through now, so I'm going to be, because I don't want to seem like I'm attacking the district. It's just certain things that I saw. White fragility is real. White fragility, for those who don't know what that is when you being racist or you move prejudice and you don't realize it, you don't even know it. Black fragility is like that too. It's just called colorism. That's another story. Mm-hmm. So I started the good first. I don't want to seem like I'm attacking the district. If I can say it's the best district I've ever worked for. Gotta be on your P's and Q's. Business oriented. You come late, if the principal late, they're not gonna chastise you. They're like, man, you good? Try to get here a little early, then you get the email. That doc, I'm like, oh, okay. It's not a pick and choose. I gotta be on my P's and Q's, so I can respect it. The businessman in me can respect it. Access to resources. Oh my God. Whew. I think I developed as a play caller and I developed as a football coach, being that New Hope, having that 8th grade, that old everything old rusty weights, but it's still access to resources. Old rusty rates. Stuff they lifted in the 80s and 90s and 2000s what I went to school with. Now that's middle school stuff and they got the brand new stuff. So I'm used to this. I can teach them stuff that I know. Now I can get you big quick, and just to see them catch on, not solely because of me, but the success they had is because those middle schoolers, we got strong and we used it. Now they in high school. Now it's up to them to keep them, and they starting to move away and whatnot. I hope they keep them together, but man, just the access to resources, 2 hours for practice. Man, for 7th grade, 2 hours for 8th grade, you can get stuff done. Yeah, it was only 2 or 3 of us, but you got time and resources. The parents, the community is involved, they love it. Or athletes, it's still Columbus.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about socioeconomics, you gotta understand, in Columbus, you got the best way I can say it, the hood babies.
Yeah.
The hood babies. Baby, even if their parents got a good job or not, they live in the hood. They live in a poverty-stricken area where it's crime usually around it or through. Right? Then in New Hope, you got those same kids. They the middle-class babies. They mama can afford to move out here and stay out there, but they brothers, they uncles and cousins still in the hood. So they think, they living a little bit better, but they can be hood, they can be hard and then go and relax in luxury if they wanted to, and so and so you gotta understand that. But when you have, how politics is when they move the line back and forth, they might have more hood babies. So that year they had a few more hood babies than they usually would. Man, we were loaded. I think Randy Grassery ended up transferring down, and I think they called him Trip. I don't know his full name because his last name was Triplett, but rest in peace to him. They transferred down. Man, it was loaded. Coach, we had 34 seniors. Wow. 34 seniors. I'm trying before I get to the bad stuff. Now ask me how many games we won. 34 seniors.
How many? 4. Okay.
Running the ball.
I don't know, before you go any further, I don't know if you heard this term, but it was always a term used toward New Hope. It was no hope. So you heard it.
Yeah, I was going to say it on accident. I'm like, I ain't trying to, so no hope. Well, it's because I got to be real careful with this. I don't want to say, I don't want to associate a color with coaching.
Yeah.
But I would notice my experiences with coaches that are not of my race, they're more efficient. Numbers don't lie. So for instance, and I understand they take the college approach. Okay, it's by the book coaching. By the book coaching is good, but in situational is not. So let's say you run 3 plays. I'm not trying to make this about football. It's just something I learned that New Hope. Let's say you want to run a screen, a fade, and a regular run. Your screen don't get no yards. Matter of fact, you got a lead man down the field, so you went. That's a negative play. Can't run that no more. But in practice, that was your go-to play to beat this. Well, you just ran that 2 times, and out of 2 times you ran that the whole game, you got 5 yards, positive plays, 25 yards, negative plays. We can't run that. Where's the Rich? Run it again. It's okay. It's 2 plays. Okay. Then you got your fade. We done threw the fade ball 5 times and only connected once. Well, the quarterback or the person we're throwing to on the same page. Well, it might be a situational thing, but we're looking at numbers. We can't call this play. All right, man, we got to throw out the script. We got to throw out the playbook. The only play that's been running is the play they know we're going to run to. Our bread and butter. Power, counter. It's efficient. Those are high percentage plays. It works 80% of the time. Of course it do. That's the only thing they're giving us.
Yeah.
And so, when it's fishing and it's numbers based and it's not situational based, now the individual is lessening the outcome of the result is emphasized. So like, if Randy Grassier runs a 4.4 or close to it, he's very fast. Why is he not getting the sweeps? Mm-hmm. Why are you giving the person that? Why is our best route runner getting the sweeps? And he's not fast, he's quick. Mm-hmm. And the person who's the fastest, who can outrun everybody, going on the fade, and he can't get the ball because the ball not reaching.
Yeah. That is something.
So they bring me back to that term, colorism of fragility. So like, well, how can Teddy Roby not receive a college offer at all, or get kicked off the team for throwing his helmet off? And I know you got your standards and whatnot, I understand it. But he come down here and every state or every JUCO or junior college in the state is coming after him. And D1 schools, the only school that's not coming after is SEC schools. And they just don't have a lot of film on.
Yeah.
Make that make sense.
Yeah. Or,
it just, this the biggest thing I didn't like about New Hope. And the video has been put out, so now I can rest assured I won't have no drawback. I heard them say to a player, you getting a scholarship doesn't help New Hope football win. I said, what? And I saw him. I saw some coaches deliberately take away scholarship opportunities from players that weren't playing anymore, or you know what I'm saying. I'm talking about big time, like Jackson State opportunities. Mm-hmm. And I saw you come in and say, "Oh, he doesn't play football anymore." You forgot to mention doesn't play football for you because he's hurt and he's trying to save his career. You just leave it at that. Mm-hmm. So like, I can't. It's white, black, Mexican. It don't matter. I'm not into destroying kids' lives for politics or for agendas or for not New Hope football, whether it's New Hope college. I don't care where I'm at. My passion for the kids, like, so like, if this kid got an opportunity to change, I'm from the hood. If I didn't have coaches or have people, my mama pushing me to college, I'd probably be doing something stupid too. So like, and for you to do that, knowing that we come from a poverty-stricken area, I just couldn't rock with that at all. So then God put you in one place, move you to another one. Mm-hmm. I tried to come to Noxubee the year before when I left Columbus, but God said not yet. He moved me to New Hope. I guess it was to keep those kids and make sure, Mm-hmm. And so then once Noxubee opened up, said he needed an O-line coach. I said, oh, for real? At that time, I had not been able to coach what I really wanted to do, and that was O-line coach. Like, that's what I played. I've been a D-line, running backs, OC for the middle school, DC for that part, or the weight room, but O-line, like how to play in the trenches. Finally got that opportunity.
Yeah. And I know you noticed we have fantastic football players. We just don't have the traditional size, and that our guys could go and play at a higher level, but a lot of time when you don't have that size, like in the SEC or, and I'm sure at Jackson State and all those schools, you got to fit within a certain scale to get in there. Mm-hmm. And if you don't fit, then JUCO is where you're going to go, And if you can go there and improve yourself, then you may get the opportunity. But man, we've had so many great guys that hadn't had an opportunity to show what they could do. And you mentioned MJ Wyndham model. Mm-hmm. I saw him Saturday night and had a conversation with him. And this guy, when he went to JUCO, he was freshman of the year. The next year, if I'm correct, I think he was MJ Mississippi Junior College Player of the Year. Then he went to Delta State and had a fantastic career. And he ain't got an offer, man. This guy got the size, the speed. He got everything. So, so many people get left out. And he is one I have been telling people all along, this is going to be the next guy from Noxubee that play in the league. But, sometimes circumstances don't go the way you think they ought to go. Yeah. So, my first time seeing you coach was at spring game in Aliceville, Alabama. And I said, who is that little guy? Who is that guy? And my nephew, Martavis Wick, he wasn't playing in that game. So I walked up on him. I was like, who is that guy over there? And he said, oh, he comes from New Hope. I said, oh, okay. So I started watching you, man, and I see how you relate to the kids. And, if you can relate to them and you know where they come from, but you can also teach them and show them that it doesn't have to. I always say that the perception that people have of Noxubee County that's what it is. It's not reality. Mm-hmm. So if this is perception, reality is somewhere else. You don't have to live up to perception. Just do what you can do to move forward. Mm-hmm. And that's what I always tell people. But, man, I started watching you, and I said, man, this guy can coach. You remember when I came and talked to you? Yeah, and I said, this guy can coach. Because, see, I played offensive line and defensive line. We had 29 people when I played. And we won the championship, won the first gold ball because it wasn't in a state championship then. Right. And we were set to play Tupelo in what was called the Lion Sight Bowl. We played bowl games after the season. And just before that, the game was already set up, and we played Sumter County, Alabama, and we beat them 88-0. And we were out there practicing on Monday, and then coach come out and said, guys, got some bad news. So they're not going to play us. So we wound up playing at least 3 games in Alabama just to play some games when I was playing. You're talking about back in the 70s too now. So it's better now. But the only team that played us was the one that was in our district. Yeah. So I understand what it is to go through some things. And that's why I started the photography thing. I started back in 2008, taking pictures. I didn't know anything about cameras then, and the photographers would tell you anything. So, I always say you got to be a perpetual learner. So you got to continue to learn. So I just started doing all the research myself, and I couldn't figure out why am I not getting all these blurry pictures, But I didn't have the right camera. And then once I learned that, then I upgraded with the cameras. But when I found out that the speed of the game, you got to have something that can freeze it. Oh man, I was on the right road then. Oh yeah. And I've come a long way, and I can pretty much shoot anything now. And so I try to tell people, it's a learning process. Always learn as much as you can. You can talk to somebody and think that they don't have anything going for themselves, but you can learn something from them. And that's the attitude that we got to take. Okay, but now tell me your impression of Noxubee County football.
Noxubee County football. All right. So when I first got here, growing up outside looking in, I'm thinking Noxubee breathe, live, everything's football. Like fundamentals, like Texas is in Noxubee.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Texas is in Noxubee. Like they grew up, they fundamentals. You out there like, you know what I'm saying? How they playing like, and don't get me wrong, it's kind of like that. Mm-hmm. But of course, you got your other stuff that's added to your culture. But as far as some of the biggest, just consistently big, long athlete kid, like they say giants. I mean, when you close your mind, you think about a big country, Mississippi boy. You talking about somebody from Noxubee.
Yeah.
Just feel strong. I'm talking about taking motors out of cars with their bare hands, but they don't even realize how strong they are. Type stuff. Like it just amazed me the type of athletes that are down here. Then just like I can connect to the fact that it ain't nothing down here, and like in the hood it ain't nothing. So like they come from nothing. Like y'all are fast because y'all just, if God can be good and evil and if nothing is everything, look at all this beautiful stuff that coming from nothing. Like it's just crazy how And like the lack of resources, but for y'all to still be consistently dominant, like oh my God, it just shocked me. It really did. Like I was shell shocked. Like it wasn't what I was expecting, but I was shell shocked how anybody could be. And there's nothing against any coach here, now, but anybody can come and be successful in Noxubee County. You know a little something about the game. You got everything here. This what shocked me about Noxubee, and I expected it being coming from New Hope, and they don't win football games, but they got all this stuff. I'm talking about all types of resources. They look like a JUCO facility when you walk in.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Noxubee, then looking online, outside looking in. Oh, Jeffrey Simmons weight room. Noxubee probably got probably a smaller amount, but they probably abundant amount of resources. Abundant amount of talent.
Yeah.
Abundant amount of talent. Like when I saw, cause he made me his head middle school coach. My first year, man, and there's nothing against. They just how the circus. That's how the ball dropped. I think I had about 64 kids total from 7th and 8th grade together. He said it's about 20 and 20. I'm big on recruiting. You say you need numbers, and if you saying numbers, it's be a drop off. Okay, that means somebody got to deal with it, and I deal with the headache. I'm the head coach. You gave it to me. I do it. 60 kids by yourself with a 50-minute practice period. Whew. They say, oh, what you doing to lose weight? Work. Go to work. Yeah, so the lack of resources kind of threw me off. I would expect for them to be dominant. Somebody would be like they'll just be willing to everybody giving you stuff. But poverty is real. Psychosis of poverty is real. So like the lack of resources. Then what threw me off for real, again, thinking this like Texas, I expected every game. This just for me coming back in the day when Tudor and them were playing football. Like Tudor was the quarterback, DJ was the running back. The stands were so packed that sometimes you couldn't get in, and sometimes we playing nobody. Then it would be big games. I'm like, so to see the stands would be packed, and it was more consistent than it was at New Hope or Columbus. But I'm just like, I expected to be totally packed all the time. Like Alabama would be. I didn't think that there would be a drop off at all. So it was to my liking. I was still impressed. It just that's strange. So overall impressions, man, great place if you want to grow and be a coach. You want to grow and learn the game and learn all that's just more than X's and O's, like management, game management, team management, program management, weight room training, community involvement, all this Noxubee. You gonna work now because it ain't a lot here. So you gonna have to step up. You gonna have to be creative. You gonna have to be willing. Then also I love the fact that you have connected to a lot of great players. Like working in Noxubee, I got more college coaches in my phone now than I did at New Hope. I did at Columbus, and there's no slight against them. It's just former players hang out with former players. Yeah. So former players are still around and coaching. They're gonna come around, so it feels good that it kind of helped me put my name out there. It feels good when you hear a person like Omar Connor compliment your O-line and say, "Boy, or to consider trying to get you a job and get you up in the college rank." Like it's mind blowing. 4 years ago, I'm just trying to find a spot to stay in now. I'm elevating, so it's crazy.
And another thing you learn here real quick in Noxubee is that we have great fans, but man, they can get critical at times.
The fan base is the fan. Like the Dallas Cowboys. Now when you up, we up. When you down, it's stuck.
Oh yeah.
That's everywhere though.
Oh yeah.
But you know, it's. I mean, it's just I ain't gonna go too deep. It's everywhere. Like most of the time, the very people like we love y'all, we support y'all, man. Fire them all, especially after the championship, man. I love Noxubee, boy. Whew. Y'all had to do some soul searching. Like fire the whole. I just got here. I'm doing everything I'm like, man. Make you look at yourself but that's the beauty of the beast. It's like, all right, you didn't win. You got them now. What you gonna do now? Yeah. So like it's that constant. It's thrilling, man.
Yeah. See, I gotta get Coach Teddy here because, he is taking so much criticism.